So welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today we're going to be covering the Helix Admin Forum. For those that don't know, we do run these in the EMEA region, and this is our first ever one for North America and the Americas region. We're hoping some of you will be very inspired and you might want to come and join us next time round. So today we're going to be sharing a customer story, and it's going to be called Built for Better Service. We have the pleasure of LCS today that's going to share their story, and it's going to be around BMC Helix, a customer-centric ITSM. Joining us today is Tyler Lester, and he will be formally introduced shortly by my colleague Nate. We also have Nate Riley, Brenda Puff, and Michael that are joining us as well today. So there is a little bit of interactiveness, so we are going to ask you to be participating during this session. But for now, I just want to give you a couple of reminders before I hand over to Nate, who's going to get us started off. So if you haven't used Zoom before, there is the Q&A section of Zoom. You'll find that at the bottom of your screen. If during the presentation you have any questions, please put them into the Q&A. And then we're hoping, although I must say there's a lot of content, we should have some time at the end to speak to you live. Until that time, you will remain muted, so you won't be able to speak, but you do have the Q&A section of Zoom. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Nate for our first ever one and get us started. Over to you, Nate.
Thanks, Samantha, and welcome everyone to today's Helix Admin Forum webinar series. We appreciate you being here. In today's session, we'll take a closer look at Life Care Services, or LCS, and we'll be hearing directly from Tyler Lester and how they transform their IT service management with BMC Helix and the impact it has made on their organization. LCS is one of the nation's largest senior living and services companies, managing communities and programs that impact thousands of residents and families across the country. Tyler will walk us through how their teams move from a legacy system to a modern, agile, and customer-focused ITSM model, boosting both service delivery and end-user engagement. We will also explore key focus areas like strategies, how they use to enhance end-user engagement, and lessons learned from their implementation journey. Later in the session, we'll head into the Tech Corner, hosted by Michael Viana from BMC Helix's Solution Engineering team. Michael will showcase innovations powered by Helix GPT. And to wrap things up, we'll have an interactive quiz. So we'll take a moment. Let's introduce today's speakers. Each speaker brings a unique perspective to our discussion. Starting from the left, we've got Tyler Lester, senior IT manager for technical support and procurement at Life Care Services. Tyler will share LCS's transformation journey to BMC Helix and how they've embraced a more customer-centric ITSM model. I'm Nate Riley, Service Ops Manager at BMC Helix. I've been in the service management industry for over 15 years now. Really excited to speak with you all and present today. And we also have Michael Viana, Solutions Engineer at BMC Helix. Michael will lead our Tech Corner, showcasing innovations powered by BMC Helix GPT. And Brenda Puff, Account Executive at BMC Helix. She has a strong partnership with LCS and leads a relationship for their account. So just a little bit about the BMC Helix Admin Forum. It's a dedicated space for administrators and practitioners to connect, collaborate, and share best practices. Whether you're troubleshooting or exploring new features or looking for peer insights, the forum provides valuable resources like product updates and release notes, tips from fellow admins and BMC Helix experts, discussions on configuration and automation. It's the best way to start to stay informed with us, learn from peers, and engage with the BMC Helix community. We encourage you to follow our webinars and even join in on the conversations. You'll gain practical insights and have a chance to contribute with your own experience. And then we'll just touch a bit about BMC Helix. So before we dive into today's content, we'll start from left to right. Essentially, BMC Helix, we know enterprise IT. 90% of the Fortune 50 and have a 45-year track record of supporting customers through complex technology and compliance changes. We devote 100% of our focus on core IT without the distractions of developing biz apps. Our containerized approach supports cloud, on-prem, and portability among them. We have an open and closed AI model with no need to move your data. In the middle section, where you'll see we accelerate IT transformation, full service ops platform combining ITSM with leading monitoring, discovery, AI ops, essentially allow you to avoid tool sprawl, lets agents learn from others, and deep discovery and planning will help you reduce change risk and manage more faster. Open telemetry and deep discovery let your teams quickly make sense of situations and respond. Swarm the right subject matter experts to address issues quickly while spending less time in war rooms. And on the far right, our open first approach is modular and predictable. Start small with your deployment models, LLMs, or even your ITSM investments. There's no need to rip and replace, and work with hyperscale infrastructure and AI assistance. We can deliver on your business case with KPI tracking, manage IT costs across LLM and data centers and application. It's a simple pricing model with AI at its core for no unpleasant updates at the renewal time. So before I hand this over to Tyler, I quickly want to make note that there will be a quick quiz at the end, so be sure to take some notes. And we'll turn the spotlight to our featured speaker, Tyler Lester, Senior IT Manager at Life Care Services. Tyler will walk us through LCS's journey from legacy systems to modern customer-centric ITSM model powered by BMC Helix. You'll hear how his team tackled the challenges of modernization, improved service delivery, and elevated end-user experience. This is a real-world story of transformation, complete with lessons learned, practical insights, and a look at what's next for LCS. Tyler, over to you.
All right. Thanks for having me, everybody. Yeah, I'm excited to give you guys a little bit of what we've worked on throughout the past. Oh, it's been 8 months since implementation started. I'll go over a little bit about who is LCS, and then dive into some of the challenges that we've had, and then also when the Q&A comes around, I do look forward to answering some questions that you guys might have, just to help you guys along. So LCS, just a little bit of background, and there will be a blurb on the next slide. Experience is kind of everything for us. So we manage over 120 different communities across the U.S. These are retirement communities. Most of them are assisted living. Some have skilled nursing facilities. Some also have memory care facilities. But really, we manage all of these communities to help make sure that the experience provided at those communities is the best that it can be. When I first started, one of the base statements that was told to me was around the uniqueness of these communities. If you go to any community that we help manage, not one is the same as the other. So each community across the U.S., all 120 plus of them, there is a different building altogether, different activities. Anything that you can kind of think of that would be at a retirement community, it's done differently in each and every one. Go to the next slide there. And this is a little blurb with a long track record of excellence in providing services to over 40,000 seniors nationwide. We set ourselves apart from other senior living companies with its unique, as I mentioned, comprehensive portfolio of support services and expertise. We do a really good job at helping manage these communities to make sure they're as successful as they can be, not only from an employment perspective, but also from a resident perspective. Excellence is what we strive for. Go to the next one. And then here's a little bit of history if you guys would like to look through these. LCS was actually started by the White's Company here in Iowa, I believe Iowa. And we built our first community, and that's really where it started back in 1961. Kind of fast tracking a little bit, talking about some of our investment partners, McCarthy Capital and Westminster Funds, become first non-employee investors. Prior to that, it was fully owned, 100% employee owned. 2018, LCS Real Estate closed on its own investment fund. Just some additional information there. And then Redwood Capital joined us in 2022. And something that is not on this slide that we're happy to announce that happened just last week is that we do have a family of companies, and all of those companies have now joined into one. And I'll try to provide this BMC team that information once we get through the webinar, so they can share it with you guys. Thank you. We're in the process of switching over all of our domains, so we've got a few months to go. Long road ahead, but it was very important that we did that. Our emails will now be, and the BMC team will probably be happy for this. Instead of it being at lcsnet.com, I'll say that at lcsnet.com, which is very confusing, will be at lcsliving.com. So pretty big change for us, even on the service desk team, which I think I'm chatting with a lot of service desk employees who would understand that change would just help our support teams thrive a little bit better. Go to the next one there. And then this is a little bit of a plug for us. LCS has won quite a few awards, especially over the past 5 to 6 years. We're top workplace in USA 5 years in a row. JD Power #1 in customer satisfaction, and then top workplaces of Iowa 6 years in a row. So we are based out of Des Moines, Iowa. We have communities across the U.S. we help manage, but our home office is here in the state of Iowa. One other call out on this is that I think it was just 2 weeks ago, we were rated #2 as a top workplace in the USA for healthcare. So another selfish plug, but we do our best to make sure that excellence is not doesn't stop at just employees, but then also our residents that helps make us who we are today. So I think next we'll get into our story a little bit. We had quite a few objectives, and I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm going to do a little picking and choosing because BMC did offer a very robust solution for any ITIL fundamental best practices. With that came, of course, knowledge base, incident management, some of the newer features like chatbot and AI functionalities. I mean, it kind of has the full gambit. Something that I've noticed is that there's a lot within the tool. But here's some of the objectives that we wanted to really cover. This user-friendly interface was our #1 objective, and there are a few reasons for that. We wanted a platform that was can be customized if it needed to, but we didn't want to customize. Our previous platform was a little clunky because it had been bandaged over and over and over. It created a fairly poor experience. No matter how hard we applied more bandages, it wasn't the greatest solution. We wanted an up-to-date solution. So with that came BMC, and I'm glad Michael was able to join us today because he actually was one of the first people we talked to, him and Brenda, on showing us what this platform can do to make it as user-friendly as possible. So a little kudos to Michael for demonstrating it for us. Some of the robust features I kind of touched on a little bit. I mean, it's out there. The platform provides anything that you can think of in ITIL, and then also being able to create little web applets for non-ITIL practices or processes. Customization options, I did talk a little bit about that. And then the integration capabilities. When we talk about robust features, integration capabilities was one of those. So right now we're building a little tool that allows my support team to be able to update our single sign-on solution with a click of a few buttons. It's a really neat and handy tool. Let's go on to the next slide there. I'm going to try and keep this focused around really our ITSM, our front-end customer facing, even though BMC has so much to offer. Challenges, I had to cover this. And this first one was really funny to me because we knew that change adoption is hard to do. But I think we did a great job at it. So the first challenge that we had was from our user-facing customers. So those folks going to the self-service portal, trying to submit a ticket or submit what we call a security access form. Some folks said, hey, something's not right. I should be filling in this field, this field, and this field. Well, we simplified the process using non-customizable features, using just the logic built into the tool with BMC Helix and their workflows, to be able to auto-populate those fields, be able to collect that information because we already had the information on the back end. We were able to auto-populate data and send it down the route or the workflow that it needed to go to. So reducing that number of fields being collected caused a little bit of a challenge because people assumed that they still had to fill out those fields. They're not there anymore. They were in the last tool, but not the new tool. So that was kind of fun to me because we were able to say, hey, you don't have to do that anymore. It was a really good challenge to have. Another one that I hit on here is team adoption and behavioral change. The challenge of a new system, specifically BMC Helix, moving from our last system to BMC. There were some gaps in ITIL that we discovered. And because of BMC in some of the fields that are required in there, we thought, oh, yeah, we probably should be gathering this data. We weren't doing it in the last system because it just wasn't there. We weren't thinking about it. But BMC does have those fields, and it got us to start thinking about it, more about our services, more about the information that we capture. So really good call out, really good challenge to have in order to improve us long term. When you see all of those fields in BMC, make sure you have somebody with eyes on them to make sure that you're looking at those, capturing the right metrics.
Tyler, what were some of the ITIL gaps that you noticed, if you don't mind sharing some of those?
Yeah, our last tool had a very convoluted way of tracking response times to tickets. We should be tracking those pretty efficiently, right? If a ticket comes in for, I'll just say Okta single sign-on, it's a single sign-on solution. If a ticket comes in for our support teams, it was very, very difficult to track that. I had to customize a feature in the tool in order to track the time it took for an agent to respond to that ticket to get that ticket rolling. Whereas BMC, I mean, it's already a field there. So we just got to plug in that time, and it smooths the way for ensuring we capture proper SLA metrics. So
thanks for sharing that.
Yep. I actually have an initiative going on with, now that we've launched the platform, we've taken a good look at it. Now we're moving on to enhancing that process and tightening the screws on those SLAs to make sure that we properly capture our metrics and drive the best service that we possibly can for all of our services. And that's where this third one comes in, transitioning to a new tool disrupted existing reports and KPIs. So a great example into the next section allows us to take a step back, look at what we're doing here and say, wow, this platform does have a lot. Let's make sure we use it. So 3 really good challenges to have. And the team has been very receptive on the support side to make sure we capture that. And then the folks out in the field that are just submitting general support tickets, they're very grateful of the new tool. Let's move on to the next slide where I think I call out some KPIs. And perfect. I hadn't gotten a chance to review this again this morning. But self-service wins only is what I really talk through on here. So I mentioned the security access form earlier. With that security access form, the idea was that we gather just general information about the customer, first name, last name, who their manager is, and then what system access do they need? Do they need access to a tool we use called AirMason, or another tool that we call AP Express? They need to submit a security access form to be able to get access to that system. That team works it and all. What we've done with the new platform is we've actually reduced the time it takes for that customer to fill in fields by about 50%. So normally it would take a customer to go to that form. Oh, now they got to spend 6 to 10 minutes to fill out the form. Oh, are they a person that has already been entered into the system? Are they a new hire where I have to fill out all new information? Oh, now you have to search through all of these different applications and all of these boxes to find it. Well, we've reduced that by automatically populating data and reorganizing the structure of that security access form so it's easier for a customer to work through. A very similar result with our service ticket time. So a general ticket such as Okta password reset, single sign-on password reset, or our HR platform. We need to collect a few data points there before the ticket gets submitted. It's very all of the fields that are required will auto-populate other fields, reducing that time it takes for the customer to fill in that service request. So we saw a 17% decrease there. And then knowledge implementation. This is completely new to LCS, and I was happy to see these numbers. We had over 5,000 article views since the launch back in March.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's a lot, and we identified that. And one of our other initiatives that we have going on is saying, guys, we have all of this self-service deflection. How do we make it better? So this initiative is supposed to be almost like a governance process where we have specific team members from each application or business owner that says, hey, they're the knowledge base writer. They can submit that knowledge article, and then the publisher, who is going to be the product owner, is going to be able to publish that article. Hopefully, providing some ticket deflection for each service that we do offer. So just huge wins on all three of those points. It's been a really nice platform to use because it's been able to make it easy for us to do these.
And when did you go live again, Tyler? These are like pretty near-term results, right?
They are. So March 17th was our go live date.
Yeah.
I don't think that I talked really too much about that go live really, but the stabilization process post go live was less than 6 weeks. We were able to quickly identify most major issues within the first week or two and get them fixed. And then beyond that, it was answering questions like, where are these fields at? Making sure that change adoption occurred throughout the following 4 weeks there.
I think Brenda, we were there the week after, I believe. I was with Brenda. I think a week after you go live.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think one thing I want to give you guys a shout out on that you did really, really well is through that post-production that you stayed in constant communication with BMC and made sure that we were there to address any concerns. So there were no hiccups along the way. Well done.
Yeah, it was great to have the partnership too, with both Brenda and Nate. Both of you guys really helped along. If one didn't have the answer, they were either going to go get it, or Nate had the answer, and then he was going to go get it. So it was really good to have both of you guys plugged in and help us along that journey, because we would have been standing there trying to figure stuff out as best as we could, and without that support structure, that would have taken a lot more time, just because it's a new platform to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that support structure definitely helped.
Partnership and communication's key, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to the next one. I think we talk a little bit about our roadmap and what we're looking for, and I've touched on a couple of these. So furthering our knowledge base is a big one. 2025 and ongoing, we have some workflow enhancements. So I talked about some of our that 17% reduction in service tickets being created by the customer. I think we can do better. I think we can reduce a question and maybe add some questions that might help the customer submit the right ticket. Because what's important is the customer submitting the ticket, but then also on the back end, what's that workflow like when we pass it over to a support team, making sure it's the right support team and they have everything they need so they're not going back and forth with the customer. So there are more metrics to be gathered there, as well as enhancements. We are wrapping up for most applications on our side what's called ABAC, which is attribute-based access control, which allows users to be able to automatically gain access to systems based off of a job title through our HR platform. There are integrations that need to be done within the Helix platform that we did not do on launch. It was a tight deadline, so with that came post-planning, which is a good thing in my mind, because we now know what the platform has and we can make the best decisions we can before integrating such a big process flow into our platform. Security incident handling is something that, and I'm really happy with this, and thank you, Brenda, for getting the right people in touch with this team. But with the licenses that we did end up purchasing, it kind of opened up not only a path for the service desk and our service management teams, but it also allowed us to look into a few other things, security incident handling being one. 26 in year 2026, 2027, we have chatbot, we have AI. What other integrations can happen cross-platform? Meaning, like the other little applet that another teammate outside of my team designed and was able to get up and running. So the exciting thing about this platform is the fact that I can get other teams involved and they get moving pretty quick on their initiatives and stuff that maybe they've been stuck on for a while. And then CMDB maturity, LCS, we do not have a very good CMDB. Things are kind of scattered here, and everywhere, but we are looking to begin building out that model over the next 3 years once we further enhance our IT service management platform. Let's see, let's go on to the next slide. Oh, And that was kind of it for my section, but I did want to reiterate that, we've been in this new platform for almost 6 months. We have already seen reduction in our security access form by 50%. It's very, very nice and healthy to be able to get into a platform, have the support structure of Brenda and Nate on our same team, and then also be able to show results in such a quick time frame. With that, I'll hand it on over.
We appreciate that, Tyler, and thank you so much for your partnership. Now we'll move on to our next section with Michael Viana, who will walk us through some of the key features available with Helix GPT. Just a brief introduction. What is Helix GPT? It's a powerful platform that enables clients to deploy intelligent agents powered by generative and agentic AI. Agents are designed to support internal teams more effectively, boost productivity, and drive better business outcomes, enhance self-service with things like Employee Navigator, giving better capabilities for end users, customers, and then also delivering more accurate contextual help and answers. Tyler was talking about the 5,000 knowledge articles views. That's an area that the Employee Navigator will certainly help with, and also generate the source data of where that came from. So it's more that shift left approach. But Michael, floor is yours. I will stop sharing, and I'll allow you to share your screen. It should be good now.
Perfect. Do you see my screen? Good. Perfect. So
I can see it.
Perfect. Let's take a quick look at Helix GPT. So this is just a very quick overview slide of some of the agents that Nate was mentioning. The one talking about end user perspective, Tyler was mentioning the chatbot. That would be, for example, the Employee Navigator that can live on the self-service portal, ask us questions about knowledge base, submit tickets, and so forth. And then another agent that I'd say very important to Tyler in the future will be this knowledge creator that can generate knowledge articles and also validate knowledge articles. So when Tyler has those business owners that are writing those knowledge articles, it can validate it for KCS best practices, for example. And then we can go on and on through all the agents. But what I really want to say here is that one of the key differentiators of Helix GPT is that we have your own AI, your own data, your own LLM. So what do I mean by that? So for example, in my demo today, I'll be using the Azure OpenAI GPT-4o, but you can, of course, use different models here directly from OpenAI, Meta, Google Vertex, Snowflake, and so forth. And of course, you can use your own user interface. If Tyler wants to put that chatbot on Microsoft Teams or on Copilot or on Google Slack or Google, you have all these different opportunities to push self-service even further. So in this 15 minutes that we have for the Tech Corner, I want to focus on 4 key agents that I would say are very important and more or less work along with Tyler's story. And the first one, this being the Admin Forum, I'm going to look at the Catalog Curator firstly. And this is like a specific agent that can not only have this conversational experience, but actually build out you workflows, requests, add approvals, and so forth. So imagine Tyler needs to build a new request, certain fields, I need to have a manager approval or to a group approval. I can go ahead and converse with this agent and actually build out a request. And I'm actually going to start with this before I go ahead and dive deeper into these 3. So this Catalog Curator actually lives directly on Digital Workplace Catalog. So if I come into here, this will be all the different published services that you have, and you would have this one specific button here called the Catalog Assistant, and this is where you launch that view to talk to the Catalog Curator, and then you can just click this Guide Me, and it can say, okay, I want to have a service, I want it to be able to request, it's for HR, do I want to put a cost, what fields do I want to have, all of that examples. So I can go ahead and say I want to create a new guest Wi-Fi request in Madrid office. I can very easily type it in here, create me a guest Wi-Fi request for Madrid office, and it will start actually building out the overall workflow, the templates. So it's going to automatically classify this as an IT request. What is the service profile? What tags should I give the service? So when someone searches for it, it will appear. What's the description of the service? It's classified this as a work order, so it's a request, it's not an incident. And for example, it doesn't have an approval right now. Maybe I want to add an approval, I can just ask it. And then it actually builds me out a sample questionnaire, which is those fields that Tyler was talking about. So it has all this natural intelligence that, okay, well, it's the guest Wi-Fi. We need the name. We need the email. When does it start? When does it stop? These are all the key fields that we need to collect. So we don't have that back and forth like Tyler was mentioning. And let's say maybe I want to add an approval, or, we don't want to just give a guest Wi-Fi all the time. So maybe I want someone that's requesting it to add an approval. So instead of going to the workflow, I can just ask it to add a manager approval, and it'll go ahead and tweak that specific section. So now it's gone from no approval to manager approval. And now maybe, okay, I want this to be in Spanish. This is in English. Of course, we want to support it in Spanish in the Madrid office. I can also ask it to make it in Spanish, etc. French and all the other language are supported because it's just coming through directly through the Azure OpenAI model. So you can switch up all the different languages. And now we can see this now service request has English as well as Spanish. And then some of the key things stay the same: the template, the workflow, but for example, the name of the service, the tags, etc., etc. So now it's all generated once again in English, and it says, these fields are required, text field, date and time. I can ask it to tweak anything here. So this is not, really a good experience for an admin. So we're here, no need to be very complex to build out any of these forms, etc., etc. And now we can see here that it's actually built it out in Spanish. No need to translate it, remap the fields, all of it here. So I can continue this conversation, add fields, change the price, anything I want to do to the service. Or I can just say, looks good. And then it will take 10, 15 or so seconds to actually generate this workflow and questionnaire. And we'll quickly jump into it once it's finished generating. But overall, this is like a whole new agent to specifically work for like catalog admins, service admins, and so forth. And now we can see that there's now a guest Wi-Fi in the catalog. So if I close out this page and I give this a quick refresh, we can now actually see that 14 seconds ago, it's created a new catalog item. Obviously, it's not directly on the catalog yet. It will put it in draft mode. And then for here, I can go review it. I can go edit it. So we look at the catalog profile, for example. We have all the tags, we have the name, we have the description, and then we can quickly go ahead and look at the workflow in the questionnaire. So if I jump into the questionnaire, we say that, okay, this is a manager approval, classified this is a work order, and then we have all the fields that Helix GPT gave us. Obviously, I could have tweaked them there. I can also tweak them here. I can add a question, but you can see it's put all these questions, is add the Wi-Fi details and so forth. So it's very simple to actually go ahead and create a whole new catalog item without doing anything here. And the same goes for the workflow. So it actually uses the IT template workflow, and then it'll adjust it based on the approval and so forth here. So if I wanted to tweak it or add anything here, so right now it's going to the manager approval. So it'll follow this route and it'll go ahead and create the work order. So if I need to tweak it, add an extra conditional branch, everything here is no code, low code, and I can go ahead and use it. So that is the first agent, especially for admins. But now jumping back to my presentation, I'm going to cover the next section. And this is, I really want to focus on the Upswarmer agent. And this is very specific to major incident managers. Let's say there's a major outage at one of Tyler's locations, something went down, et cetera, and we need to launch a Microsoft Teams in a war room. We actually have a specific agent that can help that war room act as that assistant and so forth. And in combination with showing an incident and launching Upswarmer, we'll also show how we can use knowledge, not just for end users, but also for agents in the service collaborator, which is directly available in an ITSM incident. And let's say, okay, all of this is done. Someone will troubleshoot it. We need to document this, just like Tyler said, create a new knowledge base and keep expanding it. And we actually have that knowledge curator, which we'll show right at the end, that can actually generate a knowledge article from this ticket with the activity logs, all the work that was done on it. So let's go ahead and jump to a specific incident. So this is just an example of an incident. There's an application called Media Service, and now we have it hooked up to our AIOps tool, and it created this incident, and it's saying that our EC2 instance is down because it's not responding on 8080, right? So this is just a ticket. We know the service is coming from the AIOps, so it already picks up the service. It can bring in some of the information such as the root cause. And of course, Helix has gone ahead and assigned it to a specific support group. and we can actually use AI for this. So if this is being supported in the service desk in the past, such as an EC2 reset or the network team, Helix GPT can actually now use the cognitive assignment directly with LLM such as Azure OpenAI, and we can see here that it was assigned to the support group. So the first thing that someone could use, especially the knowledge base, initially you would have to go through resources, read out this knowledge article, maybe read 2 or 3, check the passwords, but we actually have the server collaborator agent here, which is this Ask Helix GPT button. And basically what it does, it takes the contents of the ticket, such as the summary, the description field, the service, maybe if there was a CI, and give me possible resolution. So it's saying, okay, in the past, based on this particular knowledge article that someone from Tyler's team has worked on before and documented, these are the different steps or the steps you should follow. All right, so you can follow this, you can ask it a follow-up question. Maybe I want to ask it, okay, that's something more specific instead of EC2. I want to ask it something specific on the service, media service. How should I troubleshoot it? And then it'll give me all the different options that it's had in the past with regarding of troubleshooting media service on top of EC2. And just to show here, to troubleshoot media service on EC2, these not responding, you can follow these steps, right? Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what's really nice, it'll always use your knowledge base. If that's sitting within Helix, if you're using a SharePoint, a Confluence, you can even connect it to a Google API if you want to go further down that route. But the best case is have a good knowledge base, and we'll show the knowledge curator agent in just a second. But let's continue. So imagine I was using this and we didn't have up-to-date knowledge and we needed to further troubleshoot this with a group of people, and we can start to use the OpsWarmer. So how to get to the OpsWarmer? In Helix, we have something called this launch chat ops. Basically, I can click here, I can add people such as, Seth or Liam from specific support groups. I can add the NOC team, etc., etc. And once I've added these people, I can hit this launch chat ups. And that it'll actually automatically create a group chat with everyone here. So if I quickly launch to Microsoft Teams, this is what will happen. It'll add the people that I've wanted to, such as myself and Nick Owen in my team, as well as Seth, which was assigned the ticket. And it'll automatically add Helix GPT. And this Helix GPT is the OpsWarmer agent. And this agent has multiple use cases, which we will show now, but I've just quickly provided a slide of all the different things you can ask it, such as if you wanted to focus on ITSM. So imagine they've just joined this Teams group and they need information. They want to know who else can work on this ticket. So you have this main supervisor agent. I asked it something ITSM related, it will go to this agent that can take these certain actions. If I ask it more on the operations side, such as the login sides or best action plan, it can take this from BMC Helix AA Ops. And lastly, if I ask it who else can work on it, it can pull in other people from the service desk or the network team or the NOC team and pull this in. And it can also be extended with integration such as X Matters or PagerDuty. It'll actually say who is online. Okay, let me recommend these people, right? It's not just from the support group, but who's actually on call right now. So let's go ahead now and see this in action. So let's say this chat has just started and I can go ahead and go add Helix GPT, but it'll only respond once if I ask it directly a question. Otherwise, it will just say, okay, we're having a normal group chat with the different people. And I can say, ask Helix GPT, show me details on this incident. And this is focusing on ITSM, right? So it's going to call that ITSM agent and pull me all the ticket information directly coming from the incident, which is automatically created. So it can go generate it out now. And you can see an incident summary, when it's submitted, what is the service that's impacted, was there any work done in it already, and so forth. I can continue by asking the follow-up question. Once again, Helix GPT. And let's say, okay, me and my one friend, Nick, are going to go ahead and work on this. And it can actually add a note to that activity log. So whenever you're working on Teams, you can say, add a note, add a summary, et cetera, and it'll pull that information directly on the ticket. So it's not like you want to have people working on the ticket and on Microsoft Teams. It's all put together. So we can see here that now this is added to the activity log. And let's say I want to use this participation agent that we're seeing over here. Maybe Nick and me need some extra help and so forth. We don't know who can help us. I can ask Helix GPT. Go ahead and let me just copy in. Is there anyone else that can go ahead and help me with this ticket? And now it will use that particular agent, search through past tickets and say, okay, maybe Liam's helped me in before, maybe Tyler's helped with these tickets once or twice. And it can go ahead and pull out such as Prisha, such as Manny Jones, and it'll even give you the reasons why, such as they've had similar incidents in the past, and they can assist efficiently. If you're using an X Matters or PagerDuty, it'll pull in the people that are on call, for example. So this can even be further enhanced. Okay. So this is the main use cases for ITSM perspective. And if you have AAOps hooked up, I can go ahead and ask it some more specific questions. Once again, asking Helix GPT, maybe I wanted to get the situation summary. What are all my different monitoring tools telling me about it? Using the topology, Dynatrace, Splunk, SolarWinds, whatever monitoring tools you're using, it can pull that all in, create the situation, and actually give you an overall summary of it, a root cause, and so forth. So we can see here, it's going ahead and pulling in the root cause. It's pulled the situation that's coming in from AAOps right here. We can see the root cause. EC2 is not responding. What is the overall, what happens? You know, something didn't respond, the logs picked it up. Then once again, we saw that the website was maybe responding slowly, et cetera, and we even can generate visualizations from this. Okay, so now I understand the problem. Now I want to start actually working on it. So the whole team has their content. I can ask Helix GPT now, for example, a best action plan. So not only does it give me all the information on it, but it can also give me some logical steps that I can follow, especially using that data coming from AAOps. So let's give it a second to load. This is quite a big one, but overall, this gives you some nice steps. It can look at all the different monitoring tools and so forth. So let's give it some time to load and see if it wants to load me up. There we go. So it's giving me a best action plan. First step is to detect and confirm it's not responding, check metrics, review if there was any changes, anyone touched anything. Then, of course, you need to remediate it and verify it. And lastly, we always want to document closed incidents and maybe create a knowledge article from it. So I can assign these steps now. You know, I can ping at Nick, for example, to start working on it, whoever's in this chat that people have added, and start assigning these steps and working on it. Let's say now that it's all been done, a lot of people have had this group chat. I can now get it to analyze this entire group chat and give me an overall summary, right? So I don't have, you know, people disassimilate now that we had a whole group chat, we've solved it out, and now we wanted to get this post-mortem analysis. So it's going to assume that I followed these steps because that's what it's reading in the chat. And now it'll go ahead and check everything it'll do. It'll give me a summary. It'll double check the cause, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it generated. So it analyzed the incidents, situations, other incidents. And then once again, it gave me the summary. It checked if this happened in the past, such as in AAOps, this happened in the past. And it will give a 5-why analysis. So why did it happen? Why did it, status? Right now, of course, it's still open. So imagine it was closed. It will now tell me the status is closed. It'll auto-categorize the category, such as there was an infrastructure platform issue, the reasoning, and maybe if it was human error. Imagine that someone did a change, et cetera, it will then say yes. Okay. So this is more or less the main actions you can do. And then lastly, if I want to end this call out, maybe I wanted to summarize this entire chat, or I can say, put this post-mortem analysis directly into the incident, or I can ask it for a more detailed summary, such as summarize this chat and add it to the work logs to put it into the tickets. Because then we can use this work log to go ahead and generate a knowledge article from this. Imagine this was something new that's never happened before. We want to document this so we can go ahead and follow up and complete it. All right. So it's added the workload, it's added the work note, it's given the full summary. And now I can actually go ahead and jump back into the incidents and just give it a quick refresh. And now we will be able to close out this. Let's say it was now resolved. We'll have all our new activity notes here, such as the ones we saw here, Nick and Mike, the user, et cetera. And let's say I ping was solved by resetting the server, for example. And what's nice now is that we need to always document, like such as when Tyler and his team close an incident, you need to document that full resolution, right? So obviously, if I did it in Microsoft Teams, it was all there. It'll put it in the post-mortem analysis. Let's say you didn't even go that route. We even have a little Helix GPT button here that can analyze the activity logs and what was solved, such as I was solved by resetting the server. So when I move this into resolved, I can say here, no further action was required. And I can even ask Helix GPT to summarize that resolution and what happened, et cetera, et cetera. This stopped working. It was resolved by resetting the server, something very simple. But just for the sake of this incident, let's go ahead and save this. And then we now have a completed incident. And then the last thing I wanted to show today is, okay, we have all this information. We have the service. We have the root cause. We have the resolution note. We should document this and create a knowledge article. So the traditional way is someone needs to read through these incidents and document this, right? But we now have this latest agent called the catalog knowledge curator. And actually, when you have it enabled, you can hit the small button and actually hit create knowledge article here. And then what it can do is actually take all that information from the ticket, the summary, the description, the workload, the resolution notes, and draft a knowledge article for me. And then I can obviously tweak it, enhance it, and so forth. So it can create the title. It can summarize what was the issue of the ticket. What was the environment? It was EC2 instance with that particular server and the media service application. How was it resolved? These 4 steps. Lastly, we need to document the cause and maybe you want to add some tags, et cetera, et cetera. So I can hit accept all, and I very quickly started building an initial draft knowledge article. So that is everything I wanted to show. And yeah, just a quick thank you to everyone. And I'm sure there's a lot of questions in the Q&A, which I'll get to soon. So yeah, handing back over to Nate.
Thank you so much, Michael. That was extremely impressive. That's about getting work done right there. And a lot of what you were doing was on Microsoft Teams. So that's pretty cool. Meet the employee where they are and what the applications they use. So let's see. I'm going to confirm. Can everybody see my screen again?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right. So after that, I just wanted to go through a quick ask customers. We'd love your support in sharing a review of BMC Helix on Gartner Peer Insights or Trust Radius. Your Gartner Peer Insights reviews are anonymous. If you're a first-time reviewer from an organization with over 50 million in revenue, you may be eligible for a $25 gift card once your review is published. The incentive, again, only applies to first-time BMC Helix customer reviewers. On Trust Radius, you can share your detailed use case as a public post, or you can stay anonymous. You'll also receive a $25 gift card for your review. If you run into issues with your review status, either on their platform, let us know. We're here to help. So thank you for being a valued customer and helping us shape the future of IT service management. Quiz time. All right. So we've got a little QR code here that you can scan with your mobile device. That's going to take you to an application called AHA Slides. If you've used it in the past, it's a pretty easy tool, but there's also a hyperlink there that you can copy and paste, or at least just plug in your browser, and that'll allow you to access the quiz. It would be helpful if you used your name, if at all possible. There's going to be a prize at the end of this, so for one lucky winner. But let me go ahead and share this, and I'm going to pull over my browser real quick, and we'll start the session. All right, so we've got the session going. You've got about 45 seconds to answer.
You gotta
The question is,
quick fingers on AHA.
What's that, Brenda?
So you gotta have quick fingers on AHA.
Yes. So what percentage reduction in time was achieved for the system access form process after implementing BMC Helix?
Tyler, we should note you're not allowed to play. Just
Tyler, yes, Tyler, you're
you
not.
can't join.
That was my whole game plan.
All
Fine.
right. 3, 2, 1. All right. Everyone has answered. 50%. All right, cool. Go to the results.
Yeah,
Wow.
nice.
Excellent. Thank you for participating. All right, so we'll hit the next one. Question number 2. All right, which new feature introduced at LCS has already seen over 5,000 article views?
Kind of interesting. This tool looks like it tracks how fast you answer it too, right?
It
Yeah.
does, yeah. It's a neat application.
I don't think
So the
anyone's
quicker
using an
you
AI
go-
bot. Hello, Brenda. I said, is anyone using an AI bot yet to do it for them?
It's totally possible.
Yeah.
All right, we've got about 10 seconds now. And I'm going through these quickly. We've got about 9 minutes left or 8 minutes left. So, all right, time's up. All right, knowledge base, fantastic. All right.
Whoa.
Oh,
all
Chaz.
Yeah.
Just chat.
All right, so we're gonna hit the last question, 3 of 3. Again, 45 seconds. All right, what is one reason the transition to BMC Helix is considered a good challenge? It eliminated all reporting needs. It disrupted KPIs, prompting a reassessment of meaningful metrics. It reduced team size, or it removed customization options.
It's a tricky one, guys.
Yeah. All
I
right,
was
10
going to say,
seconds.
introducing Nate into their life. That's a good challenge.
Yeah.
There it is.
All right, perfect.
Was Chaz fast enough? That's the next
We'll
question.
see.
Bratton.
Got it.
Because you mentioned
Chaz.
competition.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you all so much for participating in that. And we will make sure that's recorded. All right, cool. So let's go back to our final slides here.
Oh,
Let's see.
I think it's straight to the Q&A, actually. It's the
Yeah, we
last
can go
one.
straight to the Q&A. Yeah.
I have a
Actually,
question real
yeah,
quick
go on.
for Michael there. What version of BMC Helix has that sweet knowledge article creation AI button?
Yeah, so that's on 25.3.
All right. We'll be migrating to that soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's a powerful one right there. All right, so for Q&A, we'd like to open it up. This is your chance to ask anything about what you've heard today, whether it's LCS's journey, Helix GPT, or even best practices. So don't be shy. If you're thinking about it, chances are someone else is thinking about it too. So floor is open.
So I'm just starting to unmute people. I know we did have a couple of questions when people signing up. Often people email me. I know one of the questions that did come up was really around the biggest change since moving from legacy systems to BMC Helix. And I think probably I've got Michael and Tyler that can answer that. While we're waiting for a few questions, I don't know, Tyler, if you want to take that question first, and I'm sure Michael will back you up.
Yeah, one of the biggest changes, it was for sure adopting to a whole new form that was just easier to work with. It was a good win for everybody, and it was just easy to get in there and figure it out with as little training as possible. And we had knowledge articles and a couple of short videos, but folks were able to get in there and just kind of figure it out on their own. And that was one of the goals that we wanted, is nobody should have to watch a video to click 3 buttons to submit an issue. So that was a good win for us.
Yeah, and to answer that, I would say what Tyler said. If you're making these knowledge articles, you don't want to start directly from scratch. You want to maybe take it from a ticket with a lot of information. Imagine it was a major incident, right? So that will create a knowledge article is a really nice starting point, especially if you're managing the knowledge base. And then you're talking about forms, having that catalog curator agent and not even manually creating the workflow, editing approval, adding those forms. Is it a drop down? Is it multi-select? You can all do it now directly with natural language. You can ask ChatGPT, give me a form with 6 questions with a manager approval, copy paste it in, and then it will go ahead and create it, right? So just overall being an admin in Helix, from creating workflows, creating questionnaires, creating knowledge articles, it's always improving, and these agents are just getting better and better on every upgrade.
And Michael, data is super important there, right? You don't want the AI to look at data that's, I don't know, dirty, right? Like old data, or you get a lot of the NAs that are filled out in the resolution notes. And now, you can lean on the first draft and exactly. So it's a nice way to work. And again, the AIs, you want it to learn on the good information. So
yeah, for sure.
Wonderful. And I have another question. I think, Michael, that you'll be the best person to answer this. Quite often I get asked, even in my role, about Helix GPT and the dashboard being built easier. How can it be made easier?
Yeah, so we actually have a new agent called the Insight Finder. And just like I was demoing the catalog curator, create me a workflow with XYZ, these fields, you can have that same experience now in Helix dashboards. So create me a dashboard with my team CSAT score, mean time to resolve over the last month, et cetera, et cetera. Imagine you need a dashboard on the fly like that. Instead of coding in SQL or even using the drag and drop, you can now use the natural language there. So it's gone from building a dashboard in SQL from a few hours to drag and drop for maybe half an hour to doing a quick 1 or 2 prompts, 1 or 2 questions, and having a dashboard in 5 minutes. So that's been a real big change.
Fantastic. And Tyler, I've got another question before we go to the Q&A. I can see a few questions are coming in. We always get asked, obviously everyone's trying to do things in speed. We're so busy in our day in life now. Quick wins in the first few months.
Yeah, quick wins in the first few months. I talked a lot about the service management platform, but the knowledge was a big one. I mean, it took a lot to compile, all of the documentation, considering all of our documentation was not in a knowledge base before. But once we put that out, we can immediately start seeing folks not submit tickets for stuff that they were able to find information for. So I think that would be one of the biggest quick wins worth mentioning is just implementing that knowledge. Next steps, make sure we continue to use it because we didn't have it before. We don't want to be in the same boat. So yeah, I'd have to say knowledge.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, so just in the Q&A, some couple of live questions, and feel free, those that have asked these questions, to come off mute. So Niva Samid had a question in their organization. He was saying they're using BMC Helix, how to implement AI and Helix GPT. So I'm not sure, Niva Samid, if that's actually a question or just more how you're using it. Do you want to come off mute? Can you hear us?
And if not, I mean, the most generic answer that unfortunately is that you contact your account manager, make sure that you touch base with them. And we can provide, the entitlements pages and licensing information to Brenda, packages, things like that are inclusive of Helix GPT as well. It's a bring your own LLM model. But Brenda, anything you wouldn't add to that?
No, I mean, it depends, like Nate said, on your current license structure as well. We have standard and advanced licensing. But to Nate's point, it is bring your own LLM. We try to make it as easy, cost effective, and like flexible for his customers as humanly possible at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah. Reach out to your account team. It's probably the best answer, just us not knowing the information there. But
okay, thank you. And then Henk has brought in a question. He said, what are the sources for Helix GPT events, changes, or standards like IT for IT?
Yeah, so I'll take that. So it depends on the agent. Like for the upswarmer, it was pulling in the situation, and that situation came from events. If I asked it, was a change impacting it, it can pull from a change because the upswarmer has ITSM data, it has the AIOps data, such as the events, and yes, the IT for IT data. If there's incidents, is there knowledge articles, I can pull that in. And each agent, you can set different knowledge sources. So that was for the upswarmer. But imagine you had the employee navigator, the chatbot for end users. Imagine you wanted to pull from Helix knowledge base, as well as you have a SharePoint for HR. It can actually ingest that data and have those questions there as well. So I would say merely all knowledge sources are available, such as within Helix, as well as third-party SharePoint, Confluence, and so forth. All right.
Great, thank you, Michael. And we've got one final question. In fact, it's two questions from Joe. I don't know if Joe is available because I have noticed that a few people have joined via the browser, which means when they unmute, they can't actually speak on audio. I've just found that that's an issue with Zoom, but we've answered the other two questions. So Joe, can you hear us? You able to come off mute? If not, I will ask his questions to you right now. So his first question is there any roadmap for supporting traditional Chinese on GPT?
Yeah, I don't want to answer for product management. I think the best way is to leave that for product management. But I don't know in Helix, but for example, if the LLM supports traditional Chinese, if you're using Azure 4.0 or 4.1 and it's supported, in theory, it should be supported as well. But best to email your account rep and get product management from BMC Helix to get that answer.
And I'll also take that away as an action. I work very closely with product management. I'm pretty sure I can get that answer as well. So I'll follow that one up. Joe had another question. Can Helix GPT be operated using simple everyday language? And does it AI detection generate outputs that are more aligned with natural daily expressions?
Yeah, so you can use the, I need help with connecting to VPN and you have an article, or how do I submit my maternity leave, and you have an HR SharePoint. It'll give you a natural language response. It's not going to give you the knowledge article. It's going to say, okay, to submit, or how many days I need for paternity leave or maternity leave. It'll give you that answer of 60 days plus XYZ, right? It's not going to just give you that knowledge article. So it's going to have that natural conversation. All right, that's the whole.
And show you where the data came from.
And
so
show you the
data.
source of where, and if you want to cross-launch the SharePoint or the knowledge
validate
article and validate to make sure you want to believe it, you can do that. All right.
Wonderful. Joe has said thank you. I think people are having a problem coming off mute.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you for your question. So I'm very conscious we're a few minutes over. I'm just going to do one more shout out. If anyone does have any questions and you want to come off mute, please do. Otherwise, we will wrap this session up. I think we've got any other questions.
I'll do a 5-second.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, one last slide here, and just take a moment to highlight an exciting upcoming event, the BMC Helix Roadshow in New York City. It's on Thursday, November 6th, 2025 at the Westin Times Square. It's a full-day event where you'll be able to connect with the BMC experts, partners, and see how AI is shaping the future of service ops. You'll hear powerful customer transformation stories and get a sneak peek at our product roadmaps and hands-on experience with the latest Helix innovations. It's also a great opportunity to network, share ideas, and build connections. But yes, breakfast is included and lunch, and there's a networking reception. So if you haven't already, you can scan the QR code and it will take you to a link to register. And we'd love to see you there.
I'll also share that out as well, Nate, and I will share the live link that they can sign up as well. That will come out with your thank you email. I know a few of you asked if we were going to be sharing out the recording. Absolutely. For those that have gone on many webinars that we run, I will be sending that out in the next 24 hours with all of the content we've shared today. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to a wonderful panel, and thank you, Tyler, for sharing your experience with our customers and partners, whoever else has joined. We hope you've been inspired. I know Chaz, who won our competition, Chaz has shared quite a few of his stories. I feel like I go to every one of Brenda's accounts and they all say yes. So if you've been inspired and you would love to share your story, please reach out to either myself or Nate. We will find a slot for you. We're going to try to run these every quarter, and there's nothing better than celebrating with you. And thank you, Tyler, for sharing it today.